New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, there's a crisis at the border. There's been a crisis at the border for weeks. And instead of addressing the crisis, instead of having a hearing in the committee, Democrats have passed bills that defund the police, restrict American Second Amendment liberties, and federalize election law. And not one of those bills, by the way, not one of those bills went through committee. In fact, the Judiciary Committee, 74 days of this Congress, the full Judiciary Committee is yet to have a hearing on anything. We've asked to have a hearing on the border crisis, the real crisis. We've asked to have a hearing on cancel culture, the attack on people's First Amendment liberties. We've asked to have a hearing on conservatorships. No full committee hearing this entire Congress, but they can pass bills to defund the police, restrict American Second Amendment liberties, federalize election law. And now, while there's a crisis on the border, they bring a bill to the floor that gives amnesty to 3 million illegal aliens. 74 days of the 117th Congress, the Democrats have taken away the Republicans' right to offer a motion to recommit. They've kicked Marjorie Taylor Greene off committee. 2 Democrats wrote a letter trying to cancel Fox News, Newsmax, One American News. The Democratic chair of the House Administration Committee compiled a dossier on 140 Republican members, and they're preparing to steal an election from Republican Congresswoman Miller Meeks. And today they're going to pass a bill, try to pass a bill, which, as I said before, gives amnesty to 3 million illegal immigrants. We've got gang members crossing the border. We've got people whose name is on the terrorist watch list crossing the border. We've got COVID-positive illegals crossing the border. 100,000 encounters with foreigners on the border in February alone. Housing illegal immigrants in the Dallas Convention Center. And the administration sending FEMA in to help, even though they refuse to call the crisis a crisis. They're sending in the disaster agency to help with the situation. If that's not a crisis, frankly, I don't know what one is. A crisis that President Trump 2 months ago told us was coming. I want to read what President Trump said in January. 2 months ago, this is what President Trump said. If our border security measures are reversed, it will trigger a tidal wave of illegal immigration, a wave like you've never seen before. Boy, was that accurate. If our border security measures are reversed, what has the Biden administration done? They placed a moratorium on deportation. They ended the Remain in Mexico program, and they've stopped building the wall. I think that's a reversal. I think that's a reversal of the measures that were put in place. And what did it trigger? A tidal wave of illegal immigration, a wave like you've never seen before? It sure did. The tidal wave is here, and the Democrats' answer is amnesty. Wow. Such a deal for the American people. Such a deal for the American taxpayer. Democrats' answer: defund the police, attack Second Amendment liberties of Americans, federalize election law, try to cancel Fox, Newsmax, One American News, compile a dossier on Republicans, kick one congresswoman off of her committees, and try to take an election from another, all while they are creating a crisis on the border, and then respond to it all with what? A bill that gives amnesty to 3 million illegal immigrants. That's what this legislation does today. I hope we vote no. I hope we can stop this legislation. This is not what the American people bargained for. This is not common sense, and I hope we defeat this measure. I reserve the balance of our time.
Gentleman from Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.